Thank you, everybody, for joining us back here at GCAC's channel. We have another special guest for you guys today. As we sit here with Rio Del Sol, the creative director of NTVES, and another member of the reseller program for GCAC. But before we dive into your role at GCAC, Rio, tell me about what you do as a creative director of NTVES and how you got involved with it in the first place.
Well, thank you so much for taking your time, to go through my background before we get into the reseller part of the conversation too. But I would say that I got into it as, you're into this a family. It's like not a choice, but a gift for sure. I became truly part of the business my senior year of high school when I graduated, really, because my father has been doing this business from Ecuador, and artifacts and craftsmanships that are all handmade and from Ecuador mostly. But I would say that I make more of artistic calls, say in designs that we make for our clothing, and also what materials we use, where those materials come from, which people come from, and mostly those decisions are made in Ecuador, which is why I started around the end of my high school years, because I just became a resident around the age of 17, which allowed me to go back to Ecuador without any doubts that I would be able to come back to the US. And that's when I started to really learn more about supply chains and what it takes to really run a business, from outsourcing products from outside the US. So I basically look at the culture here and see what people like, maybe more also what they lack of, because what I saw mostly, since we work with an indigenous brand, I saw that there was this type of, I would say, conflict or gray area where there was not as much dialogue as well between what restraints where's the line of cultural appropriation or cultural appreciation between designs that have native backgrounds, and how the public reacts to that. So that's basically been where my attention goes to, how that interaction goes between us, which we are representing the culture, and then the consumer, or just an everyday Joe from the US looking at it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I am a creative director as well, so it's always good to see a fellow comrade in the same role as me. And yeah, I like the ability to kind of guide things and looking at things where you kind of trying to figure out the artistic vision and taking everything into account. But you have an interesting perspective on things that not a lot of people in the US do, because of the way you said you from Ecuador and interact with people from Ecuador too, and how things go here. So then if you can use that a little bit and tell me about, now that you're a reseller, why ESG is so important from your perspective for the modern world.
Well, there's a couple of reasons why. I would say the three, or a couple of the best ones that come to my mind, is authenticity and genuine help. Coming from a country where all that we have is what was left for us, which is the land and the culture and the weaving, that shows really that we're proud of where we're coming from, which is that authentic part of it, and also that we're honest about it as well. We want to also share this love that we have for our roots. And the thing is that a lot of, I would say, marketing is what's going on with greenwashing, like saying this shirt is sustainable, or we help this group of people or whatnot. There's a lot of layers to these statements that I've seen companies make. about products that come from different countries. So being a company that works with these products, one of our biggest priorities is that being authentic, being honest, who makes what fruit comes from, what seed we use for, say, our buttons. And that connects to, all of these different regions and also communities that, say, work on these specific things, like button that is made out of coconut seed.
Mhm.
And those groups get a lot of, I would say, not abuse, but they get taken advantage a lot by a lot of companies that are from, the US. They see this cheap labor, cheap everything. And yeah, we see that we can't do that because, our boat that keeps the business flowing is that authentic part of it, and that, I would say, reservation of preservation of the roots and what's important to us, which is nature as well.
Yeah, it is interesting. I think it goes to show things are kind of headed in the right direction with the whole thing with greenwashing. It shows that things being green is an incentive for people to buy things. It is just unfortunate that then people will take advantage of that said thing and then do whatever workaround they can to essentially deceive people and take advantage of the labeling to further their own money going into their pocket, which was not the inherent point of things being green. The whole point of being green is not to just increase the amount of money you can make off of saying, hey, I'm green. So I think it'd be really good if we can put things in place to be able to, as you said, verify a lot of those things to make sure people aren't being taken advantage of, or that companies are straight up lying about their having the title of being a green product or being a green company.
Yes, that's true. And especially the blockchain part of it as well, that I've seen has a lot of potential to be a tremendous impact, not in just one industry, in many of them. When I met Kate, which is the person that, got me into this whole resellers group, we bonded over our coats that we have and how they're made and how they're basically, only ran through like three hands, which is my aunts that make these coats. And I feel like that block system that shows who touched it, which hands touched it, at what point, is so crucial, not only to understand, how much work goes into a product, but to also give credit to so many industries, or, people that you don't think about, like the weavers or people who package things.
Mhm.
Think a lot of segments and moving parts that are crucial.
Yeah, I think the blockchain is still in a, I wouldn't say entirely in its infancy, but it's still very underutilized, and people don't understand that it can be used. It is essentially a public ledger to let you know information about something, and you can't counterfeit it. That's kind of one of the key things. So you know the information you're seeing that's based off of blockchain is correct. And like you said, it also provides visibility for a lot of people along the way that play integral roles in any product. And there's lots of people like that.
Yes, that's true, and a lot of people care. And a lot of people care. A lot of people want to, want more of this. They want to be able to look at the back of a product and read, oh, it goes through this community, helps this
Mhm.
out, or, it doesn't do this. And that's something that we should really follow up on.
Yeah, I think it's going to become more and more prevalent. I think this is the way things are going. Again, you're seeing people embrace this more and more, and the technology is now there to help it happen. It's going to be a matter of connecting the dots and kind of adopting people onto it, and it'll keep happening. But Rio, thank you so much for sharing your time with me today. It was great gleaning your insight into the industry, and thank you everybody for watching. If you have any questions for Rio or anybody else, let me know. We'll happily dive into them. Don't be shy. For now, Rio, any closing words from you before we go?
Um, no, I would say that this is just the beginning, and not a lot of noise has been made with what ESG wants to do and what it's about to do with the world. And I just know that clearESG and GCAC are going to be at the front line of what is important to us as well, which is that authenticity. and the rewarding of truth, which is what we keep making these blogs on, building these blogs on, better said, with a lot of different companies and industries. So I'm excited to work with you and many more people that have the same values as us.
Perfect. Well, Rio, again, thank you so much for coming on today, and please have a wonderful day.
You too, Michael. Thank you.